technology. What are the public-private partnerships that are currently happening right now between the federal government and Silicon Valley that we can take some lessons from? And then ultimately, the purpose for us leading these series of workshops is to ink a public-private partnership and build our own solution. So, blockchain for airports. In Saudi Arabia, they're the latest government to launch their blockchain pilot. They were leaving their port, going over to Amsterdam. With a pit stop on the way, they were able to do it successfully. And like our leaders in Miami, the government of Saudi Arabia understands that if they want to be a world leader and continue to lead, they need to adopt, even though it might be uncomfortable in the short end. So I encourage everybody here to let those words resonate and go through the pain to adopt and understand how we can position ourselves to make it to the top 10 of supply chain logistics. The idea and the purpose is we really want to go ahead and move in the direction of building our own solution. So let's not lose sight of that and see how we can get all you guys to continue to sign on, continue to build, and understand what your needs and what solutions you would like to see in our own platform. Miami-Dade problem number one. This is a little bit of a subject that's not so nice to talk about, but human trafficking. So human trafficking, largest human trafficking hub in the world. Any guesses?
Atlanta?
Atlanta, you cheater, you knew already. Yes, Atlanta, Hartfield International Airport is a huge hub for human trafficking. Okay, Miami, all right, is number 2. Miami was number 2 after Vegas 5 years ago, and Miami is still number 2. Now, what do you think is the largest event for human trafficking that exists?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. That's absolutely correct.
It says on the screen, by the way.
Does it? I gave it away.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? Okay, all right. So Super Bowl. And if you know, Miami's, the next Super Bowl is going to be hosted in Miami. That's right. So we need to be prepared, we need to embrace, and we need to understand that this is a major issue. Can you put the volume down a little bit? How about this? I'm going to put the microphone here, and I'll speak without it. So yeah, Super Bowl, right? So this is, even though we're talking about cargo, supply chain, logistics, goods, and services, people is still what's most necessary for a smart city. You need smart people, and this is a big issue that we need to keep in mind and top of mind, right? There are a few pilot projects that are being done, particularly from Eastern Europe, where a lot of the trafficking is prominent. This again will be up on your slides for reference, so I'll leave these links here so you guys can look at that. Moreover, and more relevant to our conversation and to your interest today, is the related research on the topic of transportation as it relates to what's happening in Miami and what we want to go, and the direction that we want to move in. The Volp Center, how many people have you heard about the Volp Center before? No one? So the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Volp Center is within the DOT, and they've released this report. The Volp Center specifically is talking about what the implications for the Department of Transportation and the federal government in the United States will be as it relates to blockchain. The other report that I would urge everybody to look at was set by IATA. In IATA, they're talking about, as we heard earlier today, okay, a little bit of frequent flyer miles, that's nice. A little bit of baggage and cargo, that's nice. Distribution and payment, that's nice. And these are some of the issues that they think that could be addressed with blockchain, sort of the low-hanging fruit, if you will. There are other things that you can also put, like record maintenance for aviation. That's a huge business. There are some people in South Florida that are building that right now. And involved to the records of the airplane also, is your pilot drunk? You know, or has he gone over the limit in terms of how he was drunk? Something simple, but again, blockchain can immutably help change that as a requirement in their protocol. They've also talked about a few different initiatives that IATA is doing. They're actually coming up with their own coin. In this report, ICOs are mentioned, right? So the aviation industry authorities are talking about ICOs and what that looks like. So again, the links are going to be here. They'll be available for everybody. Do check it out. It's a great resource. And there's also a plethora of companies that are referenced, like FlightChain, in the report, in case you want to know what your either industry or landscape looks like with competitors. Now, more relevant to us, Customs and Border Protection. When we had a meeting together with Matthew and a few of the other stakeholders in the local community that we held at Cargill, Cargill's like, hey, what you're doing is great,
But guess what? None of this matters unless you have Customs and Border Protection in the equation. So we're highlighting Customs and Border Protection today to tell you about what they're doing. And Customs and Border Protection is actually way ahead. They've already started to do a public-private partnership together with the Homeland Security, TSA, and others with Silicon Valley Innovation Program. What's Silicon Valley Innovation Program? It's a way to be able to ask for solutions from the general public and from the private sector to submit ideas and potential solutions to problems that they've identified. Some of the problems that have been identified, let me see, are these right here with the current calls that they have right now, in case you guys are interested, any technologists in the room, and you want to go and apply. These are the benefits that stem from it, right? So what's more importantly, yes, you get non-dilutive funding, which we would all love, and in fact, we will try to apply this pilot project that we're doing here in Miami together with all of you to this same program. The SVIP program goes in different phases. Through those phases, we're going to replicate something similarly, and as you know, more importantly, it allows us to work at the federal level with some synergy. The MOU is going to be talking about some of this information. Continue to look into this. In the end, we're going to have our own costs to proceed. If SVIP doesn't fund it, then maybe some of the local stakeholders will ultimately have to rise up to that challenge. And TSA is working on these things, as I mentioned.